Good evening, my fellow compatriots, my fellow Nigerians. You are welcome to today's edition of Face-to-Face program. I'm sorry we are 1 hour behind due to some little technical stuff that I was trying to fix. Anyway, we have a very special program today. Our topic for today is we want to get your opinion on the upcoming Edo State governorship election, which is scheduled for 21st of September, which is just about 10 days away from today. The people of Edo State, they are all prepared, jarred up, and ready to take their state back. They are prepared to elect, to choose a new path, and all the political parties and their candidate, they are all wrapping up their campaign before the D-Day. And we want to get your opinion and your thought. And I'm going to have a couple of videos I'm going to be playing to us today because a lot have been happening in Edo State. Some persons has been threatening the state that they're going to burn the state down to ash if the other party rings. And also, there was a video that I also saw today, which I think, in my own opinion, shouldn't be a police officer shouldn't be involved in any of these political parties' activity. And I have that video here that I'm going to play as well, standing on behalf of the ruling party in Nigeria, speaking against the opposition party, which is the People Democratic Party, which is not supposed to be so. Police are supposed to be neutral. All the agencies of the government are supposed to be neutral when it comes to the electoral issues or electoral matters in the state and in the country. Yes, we also have our brother Chief MD, who is also part of this program. Where I'm going to bring him to the studio. But before I do so, let me just quickly play some video clip from Daily Faro team, because we're going to be discussing quite a lot of things tonight, uh, especially the issue of the returning officer, the Edo State returning officer, the person that's going to be conducting this election in the Edo State, which, in my own opinion, should be removed before the election. If the election must be free and fair and credible, and every Nigerian or every Edo citizen should go into the election with the mindset that the election is going to be free and credible, not one party having this a doubt about the other party about the conduct of the election. So that is not good for our state, and it's not good for the nation. Like you all know, Edo State is the heartbeat of the nation, and whatever happens in Edo State is going to catapult to the next election in 2027. So it is very important that we get it right in Edo State. So we all know that moving forward to 2027, things will be a lot better. Yeah, let me just quick. I'm going to play a video from Dele Farotimi, then I'll come and talk about it. Uh, Before I do that, let me bring Chief MD to the studio. Chief MD, Chief MD, are you there?
Yes, oh my dear brother.
Chief,
Oh, my camera is off.
how are you? Greet our audience. Everybody they are waiting to hear about the election in Edo State. Greet our
Mhm.
people, my brother.
Hello, my fellow Nigerians and my fellow Edolite. Apologies. I want to use this opportunity first and foremost to acknowledge that there's a land mine that we're about to cross in Edo State. And for that reason, I want us to take it very seriously. This is a moment of true test and a true change. Edo State have always been exceptional and different. And over the years, we've been able to conduct election in Edo State successfully, regardless the party in power or the state governor or not. So, regardless the threat you might hear, see, believe it. And this is the fact. Obaseki have successfully conducted 2 elections in recent time, and that he had every opportunity to have messed up the system, but he did not. First one was his re-election when he moved to PDP. That was a fair vote. The election was fair. The margin of victory was very minimum. So if you're talking of rigging, he could have rigged the election in a way that is maximum and he has like 1 million votes where there's no vote. Although the local government council election wasn't proper. However, this is the thing we must also look into. During the last presidential election, with all the might of APC and PDP in Edo State, the like of Adamu Shomole and the all whatnot of APC and the PDP giant in Edo State, Peter Obi, who is relevant or known in Edo State at the time, won Edo State. Peter Obi, Labour Party got over 300,000 votes. APC got over 144 votes, and PDP got 98.
I think FMD, I think you should save that. I just want you to greet our audience before I
I'm laying the foundation.
Yeah, I know. If I allow you the time today, you will speak for 1 hour. I know you. You're a very good speaker. Yeah, I know. It's okay. Let me just quickly play the video of Dele Faro to me, then we'll dive into the conversation for tonight.
Weakest man
Let's listen
as
to
electoral commissioner, the most violent election rigger in Nigeria today, openly, is Wike. That is the person whose proxy was being appointed as
that's a weighty allegation.
Electoral commissioner.
That's a weighty allegation.
I said it because he's on video. Now I beg she will stop being politically correct. There are multiple videos and audios of Wike enforcing his political will in Rivers State over and above the sovereign will of the people of that state. Violently too. So this is not, please, I don't do beer parlor talk.
No, because
and why you need to balance things. You can, are you suggesting, okay, so let's turn it into an argument. I am saying here, my name remains Dele Faro Timi, and I am saying that there are more than enough material online showing Wike violently suppressing the right of the people of Rivers State to elect their chosen representatives. And I am saying that his personal aide, his person, has already been appointed a resident electoral commission.
Wow. Let me play the other video. Let me play the other one.
The state are so many, and the issues will determine the outcome of the election, the governorship election that is coming up in September 21st, this month. The election is not just about APC, PDP, and Labour. It's about the evil, the acts Governor Obaseki and Asue Godalo has committed against the people of Edo State. They have fought democracy, they have betrayed democracy, they have abandoned the rule of law, they have stolen our resources, and this is the time to judge them. And this is the time Edo people are ready to tell them that they are the real owners of this state. Obaseki and Asue Godalo jointly have wrecked Edo State financially. They have plunged Edo State into debt. And not just that, they wrecked our resources to build their personal estates. Today, Asue Godalo and Obaseki have used Edo State resources to found the bank, which is Globus Bank. And not just that, Asue Godalo, I remember during the Adam Shomole, he was invited to be chairman of Edo State economic team. He refused that Edo does not have the money to pay him. And that was how he recommended Godwin Obaseki. And you can see that they are trying to make the governance of our state a family affair, an affair between two friends. So we Edo people will not allow that to happen. And this is the time to bring Obaseki to justice. Obaseki has committed a lot of crimes against Edo people. Edo people have spared him because of the immunity that is given to him by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Very soon he will not have the immunity. He will be free. The Edo people will deal with him as they please. And not just that, we are aware. They know they will lose. Obaseki knows that they will lose.
Okay, there's one more video again. The Inspector General of Police issuing a warning to all the security apparatus in the state. Then we're going to dive into the conversation with my brother, Chief M.
I hereby direct all local security apparatus within Edo State to refrain from interfering with election security functions. Any individual or group engaging in unauthorized security activities will face immediate arrest and prosecution. In this regard, the activities of Edo State Security Corps, which has been suspended, remains suspended until further notice.
Yes. Chief MD.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you heard the Inspector General of Police. You also heard the mothers, but the mother also spoke before him. I think it's a police, one of the police forces in Edo State. And you also heard our brother Dele Farotimi, a man that I admire so much because he doesn't want to be politically correct every time he speaks. And I love him for that. What is your take? What is your take on the what is look, just listen to all the video clip that I've played. One, the National Electoral Commission in the state, commissioner in the state is Wiki's proxy. Okay, and everybody is going, all political parties are going into this election with an open mind. They should go into the election with an open mind because all we want is the best for Edo State. Whoever wins, let God choose the best person for us in the state. Everybody have their own candidate. Yes, I have mine, you have yours, everybody have their candidate. But we want the will of the people. The utmost thing in this whole election is the will of the people to prevail over godfatherism or anointed son or anointed son by godfather sitting in one parlor, making decision on behalf of 1 million Edo State citizens. So those are the issues we do not want. So I want to get your opinion on this. What are your expectations? What should the Edo State citizen expect from the INEC going into the election?
What Edo citizens should expect from the INEC is a simple thing: a free, a fair election with minimum or zero violence or disruption. That is just the basic thing every Edo-like expect from the election or the election conductor. There are three key elements there. The key one, starting with what the barrister Dele Farotimi spoke about. And I mean, when he said doesn't want to be politically correct, when you are politically correct, like my mom, my dad used to say, when they say somebody is a diplomat, I mean that person is a liar. And what he said was very articulately clear. Wike already have a vendetta against all PDP people because they did not support his presidential ambition and people that he helped, people like Obaseki to win the state and everything. So you have a personal vendetta, and I think we should put that into consideration. And choosing a right-hand person to be the election commissioner or returned election person of which a return officer is very questionable. And for me, it really is really an insult on the intelligence and the trust we have within ourselves in an Edo State political circle. In Edo State, our election have always been fair. I was trying to explain earlier. For me, I don't think that it will be easy because one thing, we have a young population in Edo State. About 60% of people in Edo State right now are young. They are under 40, very active. The last election that we had in Edo State, 300,000 plus voted Labour Party. Look deep into that statistics and look deep into the age of those who voted Labour. 300,000 plus. PDP had 98,000 votes. 98,000 votes. APC have 144,000 votes. So the floor is the room, the scope there is there for each of these people to grow. PDP have a lawyer for the 144,000. APC have a lawyer 144,000. PDP have a layer of 98,000. Our Labour Party is a different story in Edo State as things stand right now. I think the police officer needs to be fired. As a public officer, it's not different from the election return officer to sway and be politically critiquing a sitting governor. Number one, the chief executive of the state. He has no power, no right, and no any propensity apart from a partisan to him to come out and rightly or falsely accuse a sitting governor in an election era. It's not a politician. Right, he has his individual right, but as a public servant, that should not be coming from him. The police officer needs to be fired straight away. I'm not saying what he said is right or wrong. I'm saying the position he occupied does not allow him that privilege to speak for or against either a party or a political individual. We are in a democratic society. It means the civilian rule over all parastatals. Civilian rule. We have civilian rule. Chief of army. I mean, the chief executive of the state must be a civilian, politically elected. Chief executive security officer of the nation, civilian, the president, and henceforth. So we have a civilian rule, and he must obey by that order. For him to step outside that limit to publicly disgrace himself on such level, he should be fired. Extremely. There's no two ways about it.
I agree with you very much on that, because the police should be neutral. They should be seen as neutral, because they are going to be part of the people who are going to be protecting the voters when they go to the polling unit to cast their vote. So they should be neutral. So I support the idea of that police officer being suspended or fired from the service.
Not suspended, should be fired immediately from service.
Yeah, it should be fired, because that, I am very sure, that's against the ethics of the police force. He has no right to take side with any political party. I agree with you completely.
Regardless how I feel.
And yeah, if he wasn't putting on the uniform of the police, he has every right to express his feelings. He has the right. That's his right.
Even without him putting on uniform, the fact that it's a police officer, that right is limited. He has a right to voice that, maybe privately, not in the public domain.
No, well, if he wasn't putting on the uniform, there's no way you and I could identify him as a police officer.
It needs to be explicitly clear. This is my own private view.
Yeah.
This is my own private opinion. It does not, as long as it's in service, in or outside uniform, he's still a public servant.
I agree with you. What do you think the three major political parties should be doing right now in terms of this electoral, the returning officer in the state, the wiki proxy who is in the state, who is going to be conducting this election? Because you and I already know that if that man is allowed to conduct this election, the election is not going to be free and fair. Considering what Dele Farotimi said about Wike, why he was the governor of Rivers State, everybody knows this incident. Everybody knows what he did when he was the governor of Rivers State. How he used his force to suppress the will of the people by ensuring he has his way all through his 8 years in office. So what should the people be doing now regarding this man who is going to be conducting this election? Because going into the election with that kind of person in office, to me, that's the outcome of the election is already been determined by some person in Abuja.
No, this is what we should know, is this. We're underestimating Obaseki ability and tendency. We are really underestimating him because we are not taking cognizance of history. Obaseki has proven that he can win an election. When he was running a re-election against Oshomole, and Oshomole with APC PDP, he successfully defeated Oshomole in same Edo State. He successfully conducted the presidential election, same in Edo State, with Oshomole presence and Labour Party winning a landslide. So in Edo State, if this what Wike did in Rivers cannot be replicated in Edo State, because Wike is not the chief executive officer in Edo State, it is Obaseki. And two, people are not actually looking deeper into Aso Ogodalo, who he truly is. His depth. Aso Ogodalo is one of the 1% of the 1% of Nigeria, who also a deep-rooted, connected person to Lagos strong old people who are Tinubu people. Let me give you a good example. Osun State. When Osun State APC governor lost his election, he lost his election to who? To a $10 brother, who is one of the richest people in Nigeria. He did everything, even though he was a sitting governor, with all the election magic. At the end of the day, they went to court. He has when the case, if you look close to the case, he would have won in the court. But Tinubu have a deep relationship with their $10. They have to just tell him, hey, never mind. As we have a deep connection with the Tinubus and the Tinubu henchmen in Nigeria. So this idea that a straw man is coming to Edo State is going to rig the election, go and look who is the partner of Ogodalo law firm. Go and research the other person in that law firm. Then you will know who Ogodalo is. It's not a pushover at all. So the relationship he has is beyond just the Edo State. I'm telling you, this election in Edo State will be fair.
Well, I don't think we don't need to put those into consideration. Those are on their own personal and individual capacity.
Yeah,
because
knowing
one
to get that personal individual capacity have a lot of weight, even more than the weight of Wike.
Well, if that was the case, Oshomole would have been able to outrun Obaseki during the last Obaseki election that they had in Edo State.
That's what I'm trying to drive at, that Obaseki is still the chief executive officer. They have a predominant force beyond the election officer. The election officer cannot magically conjure result or anything without the chief executive officer of the state being part of it.
Well, I'm sure you are very much aware that Tinubu, during his campaign for president, to become the president of Nigeria, made a promise to Edolite, and actually asked them if they wanted him to give Edo State back to APC, and the APC as a party, they all said yes. After he won, he also said the same thing, that he's going to give Edo State back to them. So considering all this fact before us, that the president, the sitting president, the ruling party in Nigeria, has already assured APC as a political party that he was going to give Edo State back to APC. Now, Wike appointed the appointment of the national Onoa, Dr. Onoa, the national electoral officer, returning officer in Edo State, was not by mistake. I am sure the recommendation is through Wike. That was why he was appointed. This is all planned work. So, in my own opinion, what we should be talking about is how Edo citizens and across Edo State should mobilize and demand for immediate sack or suspension or removal of this Dr. Onoa, who is going to be conducting this election. Because everybody must go into this election with an open mind, that nobody should have a leeway over the other political party. Because all you and I want, you have your candidate, I have my candidate, everybody has their own candidate, but all we want is a free, fair election that will produce the best for Edo people. Because it is only when you have a free and fair, credible election that you can produce a leader that will actually work for the people. Not when somebody manipulates or seize the ballot box and run with it, exactly what the president did to Nigeria in 2023.
Yeah. My dear brother, I'm not as panicking as most might think. One thing I know is that if APC and Wike underestimate Obaseki, they will lose.
Obaseki is not just the only one on this election. There's quite a lot of political parties that's going to participate on.
I'm not disputing
there
that.
are three major ones that stand out at PDP, APC, and Labour. So Obaseki, as the chief executive officer, yes, he might have his own. He might have the tendency of trying to also ring his candidate to power. Yes, that's for sure. But what we are talking about today is the one that we know now, which is the
then
INEC.
our focus is this. Our focus should be this. Whoever is the INEC officer sent, don't forget when Obaseki was running this re-election as governor, Tinubu personally, Ganduje, Rufai, all of them decamped to Edo State, and they still lost. They spent billions. They still lost. They have an APC president. They have the same INEC chairman, and they still lost. You understand?
Do you know why they lost? Do you know why?
Why?
Not because Obaseki was too powerful. Obaseki doesn't know nothing about politics. Obaseki is a baby when it comes to politics in Edo State, even though he has been a governor for the past 7.5 years. It's a baby. The reason he was able to win was because the Edo people unanimously stand beside him and say, we do not want Oshomole to impose another person on us. Considering the fact that also Pastor Yamu also has his own baggage. So Edo people stood with him. That was how he was able to win. It's not by his pay. It's a rookie. Obaseki is a rookie when it comes to politics in Edo State.
You just make my point clearer, because my point is Edo people will make their choice regardless. I strongly believe in that. Edo people will make their choice, and they will make the right choice, regardless the influence, and regardless the sidekick drama, and regardless of all this Wike, henchman, election rigging, or whatever. I'm not bothered about that, to be honest. I'm not bothered about that because I'm looking at the merit. If Aswe is going to win, Aswe will win. If Senator Monday is going to win, he's going to win. If Apata, whoever else is going to win, they will win. But we all know they will all try to play election magic. However, I can assure you that the vote will be fair. Whoever win would win. Not because electioneering by the INEC returning officer happened. Because it's unless they want to set Edo State on fire. But if we look at things in statistically way, it's going to be either Aswe or Senator Monday. It's one of the two. And let us be frank about that. Regardless how we feel about the candidate. However, we also have to look at the ceiling, the grant, where they're starting from. PDP is starting from 98,000 votes. APC is starting from 144,000 votes. So APC have an edge. APC have an edge already, and for that reason, that edge is very, very what will play out. You understand? APC have a edge. PDP need to catch up. Our Labour Party have a stronghold, but that's now been decimated. Many of those fractions has gone either to APC or to PDP. So you can just see the writing on the wall. So the middle itself needs to be won over.
If we are to look at your analysis, like you rightly said, Labour had over 300,000 during the last election, followed by APC and PDP. If we look at those facts, no matter the amount of persons that have left Labour Party because of one reason or the other to join the other position, Labour Party still have the edge. You cannot tell me over 100,000 has left. No, it's not possible. It's not up to that. So if going into this election, if you want to look at it from that angle, I would tell you categorically that Labour Party has the edge in this political season. All right. Considering that they had the highest number of votes during the last election.
All right, let's look deep into that, because one of the things I love research. One of the things that and I would just categorically say to you now that you're probably aware of it, that vote was Obi vote. It wasn't like Labour, the party vote. It was Obi
Are you
vote.
aware Obi was also? Are you aware also that Obi was in Benin yesterday?
And look at the crowd they pulled this time compared to previous time. Let me tell you the word on the street right now that you may not want to agree with, but I can make it very abundantly clear. Obi has completely lost credibility in Edo State, most especially among ASAM people. Now, ASAM people are now saying Obi hates them because of what he did, how he kept quiet, how he quickly jumped on the bandwagon of supporting a candidate that is diametrically opposed by general ASAM people. And secondly, what he did in Abia State and OT. Like you and I know very well. I believe the supremacy of the party or the office of the chairman is sacrosanct. If they're going to remove Abure, they should do it the proper way. You can't just go and form a committee surrounded. And now look at what people are saying from the corridors, that Obi is not Igbo-fied Labour Party. It's not an Igbo party. It's more or less an Abga party.
And do you believe that?
It's not. This is the perception that's been created.
No, I know. But do you? I'm asking you. Do you believe that?
It's not my opinion. If it's what people are saying, I'm just bringing it to a point that many people are saying that right now. And let me tell you something. Obi came to Edo State. Did he go to Esaland? Did he even go to Edo North? He stayed in Benin. Even look at the crowd compared. He stayed in Benin. Obi has lost his integrity because the very reason he left PDP to join Labour is the very same problem we have in Edo State, but he stood by. So it's not, I personally just feel like, I'm not a fan of Abure, but I respect him. If Abure must go, you must be done the proper way. It must be done the proper way, and his respect to be accorded to him. What happened to Abure in Edo State cannot be
anyway. Let's let's just leave the issue of Abure and all that, because that's not our primary focus for today. Our primary focus
is about the election, and I'm trying to explain the point to you that
we're deviating a little bit into Labour Party politics, because it's not about Labour Party. This is about the entire Edo State and the election.
To get my point to is this: that Labour Party don't have that hedge of 300,000 plus votes anymore in Edo State. If Labour Party got 50,000 votes this time, it will be a miracle. Let me just break the three senators, which you know very well, the three senatorial districts to you. Esa, Edo North, Edo South, Edo Central. Edo Central, there is guaranteed that will split between Monday and Dr. Aswe. If Labour Party could get 1% vote there, that's like, because all the structure in Eastern land has either gone to APC or to PDP. All Labour structure, nothing left. All the structure in Eastern land, even the few that are left, I'm categorically telling you.
My dear Chief MD, we don't need to dive into the politics of Labour. I'm
telling you.
No, that's what you're doing now. You're diving into the politics of Labour. Let's focus on our election, because now when you're talking about Labour, then you're kind of igniting something in me, that spirit of Labourness in me, to start telling you more. So I don't want to go into that. So let's focus on our topic, the election for Edo State, the governorship election in Edo State. What the Edo citizens should expect, and what we need to do about the electoral officer who is going to be conducting the election. Let's focus on this area.
Okay.
Because the more you talk about Labour, the more you provoke me, then the more you want me to start telling you, talking about Labour. So I don't want to do that. So let's focus on our topic today.
Even though
of course we are, but we have a different view.
From Labour Party, I'm an active, engaged person in Labour Party. So let's get back to the election. What I was trying to get my point across is that we should be less afraid of the returning officer, because there's very little you can do. This is a microscopic aspect look of electioneering in Nigeria. It cannot go and announce a result like they did at the national federal level. It won't happen. It won't happen. Even whoever that was announced that did not win will not govern. I can assure you that. And this is the point that we need to be very cognizant of, right? For him to be able to look at what even happened in APC party when they tried to do what's his name, Open Uzudima of Imo State, tried to do the electioneering he did in his own state within the party. He failed. The same people, his own party people, said, no, we don't want that. That's not how we do things here. We're going to choose who we want. Even when Oshomola even tried within his own party, tried to anoint somebody, they told him, no, F off. We're going to choose who we want. You know, even Obaseki struggled to convince people. Obaseki did not try to impose Asue on people. He went as far as beg and convince people to allow Asue to be the ticket bearer, and he won. He didn't come and say, this is my handpicked person. They actually tried, convince, campaign, conduct. So if we look at the antecedents of Edo people, to rig the election in Edo State at the scale that we tilt it over to somebody who did not deserve or want it, the best they can do is to rig it a little bit more for whoever that won it, not to rig it totally for somebody who didn't. The margin of the victory will not be as close as we think. It will not be as close as we think. You understand? So the factor here is very clear. Wike has a personal vendetta against Obaseki because Obaseki did not support his presidential run. Fair enough. But that personal vendetta is against Obaseki, who is a sitting governor, chief executive officer of the state. The returning officer cannot leave the state without announcing the result or try to escape the state and announce the result. He has the security, of the chief security officer have the power to hold him accountable and say no. The constitution gives him that power. So we should be less afraid. What we should be most afraid of is with this election will be marked by violence.
Well,
and by
I don't think anybody is afraid, but there's always room for us to be very cautious of what the unseen. For example, you already know, we already know the antecedent of Wiki. We already know the plan of the president of the current president of Nigeria, Tinubu. The promise he made to the APC as a political party in Edo State. For them to have someone who is close to them to be in charge of conducting the election, that should call for concern. It should concern every political party, not just not just Labour. It should be of concern to every Edo citizen, because we do not want a situation whereby some party will feel cheated during the course of after the conduct of the election, and that will not trigger violence in the street of Edo, in the street of Benin, in Benin City or any part of the state. We do not want that situation. We do not want anybody to go violent, burn houses or burn any government building. So we can avoid that by actually demanding for that Dr. Onoha of a person to resign, or somebody else needs to be brought into the state to oversee the election of the governorship election. I think that is more, that is better to prevent. Prevention is better than cure, like they always say. It's better for us to prevent the situation.
And if we cannot do that, what next?
If we cannot prevent that, I believe we can. We should follow. We should follow that part. If we cannot do that, then every Edo citizen go out, vote, and ensure that the vote is counted in your presence, so that at the end of the day, the actual winner will be declared not somebody anointed or chosen or selected by someone somewhere. That's what we do not want to see
If
in
we
the state.
cannot remove Yakubu, what's the name, the INEC chairman,
Dr.
after
Noah.
no, if we cannot remove the INEC chairman himself after obvious electioneering, how do
Yeah,
we
but
remove the returning officer?
well, Edo State, I think you're forgetting something. Edo State is not like every other state in Nigeria.
This is my
Edo
point.
State,
No,
yeah,
I
I'm
agree with
coming.
you.
I'm driving somewhere. Edo State is we might be a little bit of we might be a minority as of today, but in history we've always stood up in whatever happens in Nigeria starts from Edo State. We've always stood up, and the issue of the Nigerians not being unable to remove the INEC chairman because they didn't press further. Nobody said, people just went back home and felt like nothing happened. So Edo State is different. Edo State is very different from every other state. Whatever the Edo State is, if they decide tomorrow they want that man out, that man will be gone. Trust me. If they decide tomorrow they want that man out, that man will be gone within 24 hours. They don't play.
This is what me I'm most concerned about. I'm least bothered about the man. What I'm most concerned about is the thugs, the street thugs, the hooligans, and everything who are now been manifesting and doing all sort of things, threats, and all those stuff before this election. I would have personally preferred, regardless who the election returning officer is, that we have good control of our security. Obaseki should be held accountable to provide good security. In the last election, we know what Shaibu did. There is video of Shaibu boys being shared where he's with pump action gun and they were going around intimidating, scaring people. Now, Shaibu has decamped, more or less, so he doesn't have the backing of the chief executive security officer anymore. So that will be limited. But it doesn't mean the other party doesn't have their own thugs to intimidate people. So let's assume they even put Jesus Christ or Prophet Muhammad as the election returning officer. If we have what I call this polygamous thuggery, scare people at the polling station, this is where the election will be stolen. Falsify election report before it gets to him. What are you expecting him to do? It's so limited at that point. He cannot query what he doesn't know the fact of. He will only go by that. This election is not going to be rigged by the election controlling officer. It's not going to just randomly announce a figure. Look at what happened in one of the states in the north, where the election were contested, won by somebody else. The election officer wanted to do something else. They beat the crap out of him. They didn't even let him leave the state. We all celebrate initially, we have a first female governor, only to realize it was a fraud. And all of us, she's a thief as well, saying, she wanted, let's go to court, thinking they can win in court. So for me, the election officer is minuscule in this equation. What we should be owing accountable is Governor Obaseki. Control the thugs. Give us a fair election. If Asue win, I would proudly support him and pray that he's successful. If Senator Monday win, I will proudly support him and pray successful. And if Akwate win, I will proudly pray for him and hold him accountable. Or whoever wins. But give us a fair election. Let us challenge our wit and our trust. I'm more interested in that. Because I don't think the election officer can single-handedly swing. He would not leave Edo State alive. Even if he did, the cost that will rain on him, he will regret. It will be better for him not to have gone or even be dead. People are really starving in Edo State to a point of literally begging on the street. Any small flood like this, life is ruined. Any small flood, life is ruined. Property lost. Businesses collapse, just some rain. You can't even travel from Edo, from Benin to Urobi, or from Benin to Esako in peace, without the fear of kidnap or bad road. Who wants an election to be rigged for such thing to carry on? Nobody. So people will vote for the person they truly believe. And if you see the campaign, which we are both observing from a distance and close when necessary, this is the first time in Edo State I can say a genuine campaign is happening. Nobody's looking at shenanigans to rig the genuine campaign, left, right. More than ever before. You can see Asue crowd, you can see Senator Monday crowd, and other people, God bless them. You can see them in North, in South, in Central, pulling crowd.
Anyway, what can we have your closing remark, please, regarding the what do you want to say to the INEC and the Edo residents?
First of all, what I would like to say is the police officer that made the jargons and false accusation or false or not accusation against Obaseki, Governor Obaseki, should be fired. It's not worthy of the uniform he's wearing. It might be a respectable, credible person, and his frustration may have overwhelmed his sense of duty. But his duty is precedence over his personal feeling. And the fact that he's wearing the Nigerian police uniform, it should not have happened. So he should be fired. And secondly, the election returning officer is not the threat to democracy, because that's something that we should just get over it. The greatest threat to democracy is voters' apathy. We should go out and vote for the candidate we truly believe in. I personally am a Labour Party person, but I'm supporting Senator Monday, an APC candidate. And I know you are supporting Labour candidate. And there's nothing wrong with that. We are brothers still. And our friends supporting Dr. Aswe. We should not then carry arms against one another because we have different candidates, or try to maim one another, or try to disfranchise one another from voting. Instead, let's spend this time constructively to convince one another why you should support the candidate I'm supporting. I'm not an APC person, but I was convinced the APC person would be a better candidate than the Labour person that I should be supporting. And nothing wrong with the Labour person, because the interest of Edo is paramount to me. It comes first, Edo first. So I want to appeal to every Edo-lite. Go out there and don't be afraid. And vote for the candidate you truly believe in and you support. And if you think there's any shenanigans going on, stand up, hold your phone. We have social media now. Gone are the days where election doesn't happen and they announce results. We have social media now. Take pictures. Publicize it. Show the faces of the criminal intimidating people or scaring people from polling booths. And then we have a ground to go after them. Arrest them. And that's have faith. I personally feel Obaseki will conduct a free and fair election. I don't know him, but it's antecedent for the past couple of elections, apart from the local government election. He has been able to prove that he has the capacity and capability to conduct a free and fair election. So for that reason, I want to urge everybody to just calm down and go vote and support their candidate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my fellow Edo-lite. We have come to the end of today's program. It is very imperative that the Edo people, Edo citizens, are given the opportunity to democratically elect their leaders. The upcoming election must be conducted in a manner that is transparent, free, and fair, without any interference or manipulation from any political party or their agent. It is crucial that the integrity of the electoral process is upheld, ensuring that the will of the people is accurately reflected in the outcome. Let us strive for a democratic election where the voice of the people is heard and respected. The INEC returning officer must do the needful by stepping aside and allowing someone else, a neutral person, to come to Edo State and conduct the election. Thank you, my people. Have a good night. Thank you, my brother Chief MD.
Thank you very much.